Well, that weird stain doesn't seem to have got out. Alright, well now that we got it sanded roughly, we're just going to get the surface wet. That'll raise the grain. And then we're going to hit it again with the sandpaper to knock off any of the raised grain. And then it'll be time for the first coat of oil, and we'll do a bit of wet sanding with the oil. Just going to use this rag here. You don't have to get it soaking wet, just lightly. It's actually better if it's not soaking wet. And as it dries now, the grain is going to stand up, so you'll be able to hit it with that 400 grit and knock off any tall areas. So we'll let that dry for probably about 10 minutes. Okay, so now it's dried, and you can see, you can feel it, you can really feel it, how the surface is all stood up. So we just got to go over it lightly with our 400 grit again, until it's, you basically just feel it, until it's nice and smooth like it was before. Like that. That oil really makes it pop, doesn't it? We're gonna rub this one in a bit thicker and let it kind of absorb into the wood. Give us a nice, big, durable finish. See, it's a bit thin up there, so we'll just throw more oil on it. All right, so now that's in. I'm just gonna set this up on some blocks that I'm gonna make up quickly. This is a super fancy tool. It's basically just a piece of plywood with some screws through it, and then I rounded off the tips with a file. And I don't know, can you see this in the camera maybe? If I tilt it a bit, you see how it's dark on this cherry in the middle? That means it needs a little bit more oil. So, I'll just go give it a wipe. I would imagine the other side is probably the same, being that cherry is probably the softest of the three woods we have. Guess while I'm waiting for that oil to absorb, I might as well give the shop a bit of a sweep with this dust up. And I actually like to collect this dust. It works, especially this super fine stuff. It works pretty well if you're, I don't know, let's say working on your 97 Tacoma and you forget to put the drain plug back in when you're draining the motor oil, and you just so happen to bump your catch pan out of the way and spill it all over the floor, sawdust is your friend. It doesn't work quite as well as, you know, commercial like oil pickup material, but honestly, it works well enough and it's free. So like, why would I waste my money buying an oil pickup product if I can just use a bit more excess scrap sawdust? All right, it's had a few minutes to sit. You can see it's absorbed again in some of those softer areas. So that's where doing multiple coats over the course of the week is really gonna help you out, because it will fill in all of those areas. But for now, we're gonna do the first round of wet sanding. So I basically just load the paper with some oil. Make sure you go with the grain, because this is your finishing coats. And I'll let this soak for a couple hours on the surface of the wood, or until it looks like it's mostly absorbed. Then I'll wipe it off and let that dry until tomorrow, when I basically repeat this process. And as always, I just gotta say thank you guys for watching, I really appreciate it, and thanks to Ryan for holding me to my suggestion there to make a cutting board video. I had fun, and I hope you guys do too. Otherwise, I'm gonna keep working on that pie cutter, and maybe in the next couple days, I'm gonna have to test it out, so we'll probably make a video on making a rhubarb pie again. So that's all for today, and thanks for watching. I hope to see you again next time. Bye for now. And we did manage to get that crazy stain out.